What's up, guys? Good morning. I'm here. Listen, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. We're going to dive into a very interesting topic this morning. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get to it. As always, I hope that you started your day off with a purpose. I hope that you're motivated. We're going to discuss some of the problems that's going on. And then, as always, at the end, I am going to provide some solutions. I'd like to thank everybody that's been supporting my channel. It's growing rapidly. That's why I'm so fired up. Let me throw on some captions. Welcome to my stream. Welcome to my stream. Good vibes, good vibes. I hope that you are having a good day today, a good morning. I hope that you're having a good day today, good morning. I'm sending you good vibes. Sometimes we just need somebody to tell us that it's going to be all right, okay? So if you're going through something right now, it's going to be all right. Today's topic is why Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Ooh, that's one that a lot of people don't really want to talk about. Why Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. We're going to have to discuss this. And also, you can support our mission by donating via Cash App, Elaine Kim 29. And we're going to talk about why young Americans can't afford the American dream. Why young Americans can't afford the American dream. Now, this is an issue that also affects older people too. A lot of older people can't afford to retire. So, of course, the system works seemingly by putting us against one another, young versus old, ethnicity versus ethnicity, race versus race. But at the end of the day, we're all losing the race. And also, I would like to see you in my next streams. Stay tuned. I will be cooking later on today, doing a deep dive into discussed yesterday on my live stream about the history of Native American enslavement in the Americas. We're going to talk about the colonial system, the encomiendas, the repartimientos. We're going to talk about King Philip, King Charles. We're going to talk about how we got to this point and how it relates to what's going on today with the protests. Okay. So, why Americans are living paycheck to paycheck? That's today's topic, guys. So if you're coming into the stream, this is what we're about to talk about. And like I said, I wish you a good morning. We're going to start this day off right. I wake up each day with a purpose, and my purpose is to bring justice in my own way. And I do that by telling the truth, by researching history, by sharing it on my platform. A lot of times, guys, you may not know this, but I do get hateful comments on my platform when I'm just trying to make the world a better place. I want people who need justice the most to receive it. Welcome to my stream. Like I said, guys, if you come into the room, even if you don't stay, hit a like. It's free. It helps. Hit a like. It won't hurt you. It won't hurt you to hit like on the tab. It won't hurt you. You can support our mission by donating, and we're going to discuss why young Americans can't afford the American dream. Welcome to my stream. We're going to discuss why Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So, with no further ado, we're going to hop in it. We're going to get right to it. first, we're going to share and go into a video right quick. Let me cut down the music. We're going to get right to it. I found this video and
Let me tell you, it makes absolutely no sense. A U.S. household income needs to be at least $114,000 to afford a median priced house here in the United States. Now, you compare that to just 6 years ago in 2019, the income of a U.S. household only needed to be $67,000. Can you believe that? A $47,000 increase in just 6 years in the amount of income needed in the United States to buy a house. Folks, that's an incredible increase. And you wonder why the younger generation is not buying homes. Well, you got high priced houses and high interest rates. Unbelievable, though. I mean, we all know that house prices went up quite dramatically during COVID from 2020 to 2022. But just imagine, you need to make a household needs to make over $114,000. That's wild. And so, if you look at the biggest increase in the United States, I found this fascinating. In Los Angeles, you had the biggest increase in the United States. I'm not too surprised, I guess. But you need to make over $315,000 in Los Angeles to afford a house, a median priced house in the United States. Now, number two was Boston. You need to make.
so what's going on right now, we're talking about why the housing market, my screen is freezing, why the housing market is the way it is. And Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, a lot of people don't really want to touch this issue. This is something that if you are a Democrat, you blame on the Republicans. If you're a Republican, you blame the Democrats. Guys, I'm going to speak as a young millennial. Most of us don't care about whether a person is a Democrat or Republican because we're struggling. And I don't want to get too political, but we're struggling. We're struggling, guys. So how about we look at the problem? Okay, let's hear it from the people that's actually are experiencing it. And so we just looked at the housing. So what I'm going to do, guys, I am going to show you another tab, and we're going to talk about. We're on Zillow, and we're going to look at some of these houses. Now, which I googled which houses are. I mean, which city is the city that most Americans would prefer to live in? Of course, they chose Florida. Now, this house is $450,000 for a 3 bedroom, 2 baths, almost 1,600 square foot home, guys. That's really not a big home, to be honest. Come on, guys. I'm not even going to say it. Read between the lines, guys. $450,000, guys. For a 3 bed, 2 bath, 1,600 square foot home, guys. Okay? All right. Moving along.
Hi, so I usually don't make videos like this, but I had to come on here and make this video because I'm just absolutely disgusted. So I need to mention how it is completely ridiculous right now that nobody can afford to live. And I'm not talking about, it's disgusting how expensive everything is. And I'm not talking about, gas prices.
Guys, it's disgusting, she stated. She said most people cannot afford to live. Guys, I'm sorry. When I think about this, I it does anger me some because at this point in the game, I've been in the workforce for a decade. Okay, I'm a young man. I've been in the workforce for a decade. So some of the things that I've heard previously that I used to believe, like, oh, you guys just need more education. You guys just need to work harder. Oh, you guys just or you just complain too much, work hard. We had to work hard. Guys, I don't think you understand that we are being priced out of the game. The young people are being priced out of the game. With the older generations and the world that they inherited, at least most of them, if they wanted to, they could buy a home. The young people can't even buy a home. And if they do buy a home, it's going to be in what we call the hood. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back to the video. It looks like we're buffering. Let's try this again.
Hi. So I usually don't make videos like this, but I had to come on here and make this video because I'm just absolutely disgusted. So I need to mention how it is completely ridiculous right now that nobody can afford to live. And I'm not talking about it's disgusting how expensive everything is. And I'm not talking about, gas prices being high and the price of food being outrageous, because it is, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about rent and bills right now.
Okay. It seems like TikTok is not wanting us to be great, but you guys get the point, right? And this is making Americans give up, okay? The cost of living is insane. Everyone is talking about this, okay?
So I'm in the process of finding a new place, and it doesn't make any sense how this world expects you to survive. Not only do they want the rent, which is an arm and a leg, but they want 3 months, 3 times the income, and then they want a deposit, and then gas is $6 a gallon, and I'm making 19 bucks an hour, bro.
I'm gonna pause that and I'm going to show you guys this, okay? If you're looking at my screen, hold on. Where are we at? Here we go. If you're looking at my screen, this is from a website called marketwatch.com, okay? And it's a 2002 versus 25 comparison. Okay, so from the year 2002 versus 2025. Okay, the it says we asked 2,000 American adults if they consider themselves to be living paycheck to paycheck, and 57% said yes. This sentiment likely resonates with many Americans. Costs for everything from cars and homes to fast food meals have skyrocketed in recent years. Meanwhile, the federal minimum wage has remained at 7.25 since 2009, which generally isn't enough to pay for basic living expenses. Okay? So we're going to do some cost comparison. So federal minimum wage in 2002 was $5.15. Currently, in most states, and I'm in the state of Texas, it is $7.25. Average cost of a new single family home was right at 225,000 in 2002. Now minimum wage has only went up $2.10 in 23 years. Meanwhile, the cost of a new single family home has skyrocketed to almost $500,000. Tuition. The average annual in-state tuition and fees at a public four-year college was $4,115 in 2002. Now is at $11,610. Everything has gone up. The average cost of a used car in 2025 is $25,000. The average cost of childbirth without insurance is right at $20,000, guys. Guys, come on now. Come on now. We have to look at this. At some point, we have to look at this and say, well, if it's this bad now, what is it going to be like in 10 years, another 20 years? How are the young people going to have families? How are the young people? Because our young people are the future. That's either true or it's false. The young people are our future. So if the young people are living paycheck to paycheck, how are they going to survive, guys? We need a change. Then it goes into uh gender. And it says the wage gap has narrowed over the past 2 decades, but women are still more likely to earn less than men. In the first quarter of 2025, women were paid about 84% of men's median earnings, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Being paid less for similar work is likely a driving force behind women living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, so that's some of the facts backing up what people are saying. Okay, this is some of the facts that back up what some people are saying.
You know, on top of bills, on top of food. Somebody needs to make the price of living actually realistic, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything is going up, prices are going higher, but the wages aren't going higher. You know? Like, make that make sense for me.
Okay, I am going to try to. Can you guys see this? Let me see. Okay, good. Good job. We're going to read the comments. The truth is always in the comments. The truth is always in the comments. I love to read the comments. I'm making 30 bucks an hour and I still don't make enough to live in California. Let's go to the title of the video. It says the cost of living is outrageous, especially out here in California.
Me, please, so I can understand. And if anybody is out there, man, let me know what you are doing and how you are making it in the world. You know, please, because it just is craziness. So I'm in the process of finding.
And we can't afford to think in a way of saying, well, that's them, it's not me. You're next. If you think like that, you're next. You're in the food chain. Okay, we have to have a mentality where if it affects one person, it's too many. Guys, people are crying on the internet because they're struggling. Guys, like, I don't know in what world do you think, or do other people think, that a person would really come to the internet to cry about their finances and do it just for views? Look, this person I'm about to play, she only has 51 people. This other person has 32 people that hearted the video. A lot of people are not even engaging. It's like people try to avoid this, is what I'm saying. You can't avoid this. You can't walk outside and not see this. The other day, I'm driving in Houston, Texas, guys. I'm gonna choose my words carefully because I don't want the algorithm not to replay this video. But I'm driving through Houston, Texas, and there's this guy who is at the bus stop, you guys, and he's completely nude. And I almost couldn't believe it, man. I'm like, I had just worked. I worked all week because I drive trucks, guys. And I worked all week, and I'm like, man, and I had to go out of town. And I just got back from Salt Lake City, and I'm driving to my Airbnb, and I see a guy at the bus stop, you guys, in broad daylight, guys. It was about 3, 4 p.m., completely nude. And I look to my left, I look to my right, and I said, man, what is going on out here?
Worked out, because then I might actually be able to pay my bills. I might actually be able to take care of my cat. I don't know what I'm gonna do this month. It makes me mad. I applied to all these jobs. I basically have a college degree. And I can't get a job. And it made me mad. I see these people on social media my age. And they get paid so much money to make these videos. Which good for them, but it's just like I'm struggling to live. And you guys make videos and get paid. So I'm gonna make any bills this month. I'm in so much debt. Just annoying. I hate this world.
Okay, let's read the caption. It says, and the reality is one full-time job that pays $15 an hour isn't going to be enough to pay for bills or to move out. And this situation is something that the victim gets blamed for. People, instead of looking at the big picture, they would point to the individual and say, well, there's something you're not doing right. And what they would do is they'll point to one person out of 10 people that's doing okay and say, John over there is doing well. Why can't you do well? I'm sorry. One person out of 10 is 10 is that 10%? Okay. That's not a fair equivalent. If only 10% of people are doing well and then 90% of people are not doing well, that's not a good equation. That means 90% of people are not doing well. I just seen a guy at the bus stop with no clothes on. It's not something I'm imagining. As the young people say, I'm outside, guys. I actually touch grass. I've been to almost every city in the country, guys. I've seen things that I know the average American haven't seen. So it would be one thing if I was speaking on this perspective as somebody that's not outside, that's just in the bubble. Too much now to where it's like, okay, let me try to be an advocate for some of these people, you know. And although I have skills that can help me get a job and things of that nature, it's still hard for me. So I couldn't imagine what it's like for someone who is young or old, their health is failing. Man, come on, man.
Okay, y'all, watch this with me.
How can we afford an $80,000 house? Over 30 years, just a trifle down payment, and a pittance of a mortgage, and two living parents with a pen. Who can sign?
So that clip was from Boy Meets World, and that episode aired in 1999, and I couldn't help myself, so I had to run the numbers. The show took place in Philly, and I saw that the median house price was around $80,000 in 1999. Now, according to Pango, were high school students without a job, so they couldn't qualify. But what about the median household income back then? It's $40,000, which is about $3,300 a month, and a 3% down payment on the median house was only $2,400. So somebody in Philly in 1999 didn't even have to save 1 month's income to put a down payment on this house, and the interest rates were around 7%, just like they are today. So with principal, interest, property taxes, insurance, and private mortgage insurance, the total payment was $750 a month to get the median house in Philly, and you're making $3,300. So that's about what, 25%? So a family making 40 grand could take care of their entire mortgage in just 1 week. And then I wanted to see, well, let's just see what happened to the prices in Philadelphia, because we know the averages around the country, but let's look at Philly. 80,000 was the median price in 1999. It's now 250,000. So below
The father of your child, the one you're supposed to be co-parenting with.
Men can be the victims in abusive relationships, and there is not a lot of information out there on what that looks like in heterosexual relationships when the man is the victim and the woman is the abuser. So I just want to go over a few examples of what this might look like to help raise awareness. And this list is not by any means exhaustive, nor are any of these tactics unique to just female abusers. Oftentimes, male abusers use them as well. Let's start with threats. Threats to your reputation. Threats to tell your secrets to family members that would be embarrassing or humiliating to you, or to ruin your career. Mocking you or putting you down in a cruel way that's passed off as a joke, but really isn't funny at all. Humiliating you in front of others. Comparing you to her exes in ways that are designed to make you feel bad. So this could be comparing you to her exes as far as appearance, finances, personality, sexually, any of these things.
When people are not doing well financially, I don't know if I was muted just now. When people are not doing well financially, it's going to cause the family unit to break down. You don't want to be one of the people who, out of 10 people, you're one of the 10% or 20% that's doing well, and then 80% or 70% or 60% of people you know are not doing well, because now you are going to be looked at as food. And people wonder why people don't have friends. Okay, now let's look at some of the comments. The comment says, I've lived it. When I tried to get outside help, I was ridiculed and made fun of. Now, listen, guys, we are in a serious situation, guys. We are in a serious situation because people, you see a lot of these type of videos, like people talking about single moms and 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 All of this chaos. People are blaming each other instead of looking at the external force. It's an outside force that's affecting us. It's not women's fault. It's not men's fault. It's what some people would call the state that's passing laws to contribute to the chaos. Now, either I'm wrong on that, and then I need to go back to school and I need to get some more education. But in my last 12 years of adulthood, this is what I gathered.
I love me some black men and black women. I don't discriminate. When I am single and dating, I will consider all races, but there's about an 85% chance that I'm going to end up with someone who has melanin. But this is usually the comeback that people want to give me. And joke is on them because I am a single mother, but it's because of a white man. Because of a white man. I love me some black men and black women. I don't discriminate.
That got pretty deep. As a black guy, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like to be fetishized like that. So I'm gonna speak on it like that. Don't make videos like that. That's kind of weird. I'm gonna be real. If you're gonna like a person, date a person because you like them for who they are. Don't just date a person because you like. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of weird to me. I'm gonna just be real with you.
No, posting this, I'm gonna get some crazy comments, but it's just what I think, just what I feel. I think leading women to believe that they're less valuable in the dating market as they get older, and like if they have children, single moms, is the biggest collective gaslighting I've ever seen. What I think is that as you get older, you're better, you're wiser, you're smarter. At least if you heal, right? And a mom, let alone a single mom, right? Like, first of all, why are we shitting on moms at all? Like, we all got one. It's kind of how you're here on this planet. So, don't know what the heck you're doing with that one. But, like mothers should be worshipped, protected. Like, they do something that is so sacred and important and is like, literally, again, why we're all here, right? And it's like, to be a mom, let alone a single mom, the things that you have to tap into within yourself. I'm not a single mom, but like women that I know who are moms and are single moms, they're like some of the most wise, powerful, capable women that I've ever seen, that are able to just like have such a precision with their time and energy, like throughout their day-to-day, like their day-to-day life. And it's like, I'm like, shit,
The point that I'm trying to share is that since the financial issue is so vast, people's relationships are breaking down. So the people that should make up the household are not making up the household, okay? People that should be together, a husband and a wife, that's not happening. We're seeing a societal breakdown, okay? Okay, I'm going to show you something, okay? Um and when you see this, society is breaking down, guys. Like when you see this, it's very sad what's going on, because how are the children going to be affected? And also, how are future generations? Like, okay, I've been seeing an uptick in people not having babies. Why? The economy. um, People are not hitting the milestones that used to be measured by becoming an adult, moving out of your parents' house, getting a trade, getting a degrees, or getting a, a good job, or starting a business. People are struggling. Now, it's good things going on too. I repeat, it's good things going on too. You do have outliers where people do amazing things because we are resilient. But what I want to talk about is how the fact that people are struggling financially is affecting the higher needs, such as interpersonal relationships. And as a result, more people are going to be destabilized because the young kids, if they don't have parents, and then check this, most of us that's at least 25, 30 years old, We grew up with what? Aunts, uncles, cousins. We grew up, a lot of us grew up attending the same schools or living in the same cities for years at a time, developing social bonds, community. Guys, if the community breaks down, what does that say about our country? The country is made up of communities.
So I see women on this app like crashing out because of how horrible like their ex-husbands are, their baby dads are, just like ruining their life and just, you know, making their life so difficult. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so horrible what those women are going through. And now I'm one of them. I filed for divorce 2 months ago. I've been trying to look for an apartment, and the places that I'm looking at, I need to make 3 times the rent to be able to rent them. And unfortunately, with my job, I'm a CNA. I don't make 3 times the rent. So I need a child support order to be able to add to my income so I can meet the requirement. And I've been trying to get into some sort of settlement with my soon-to-be ex-husband on that. And basically, he is blackmailing me, I guess. He wants me to sign away all rights I have to his military retirement. He is in the Army. He has been in for 18 years. He'll be retiring in 2 years. And I've been married to him the entire time. So the retirement's a marital asset. So I am entitled to part of it. We've been going back and forth and fighting about it, and I just can't take it anymore. I just want to leave. I just want to move out, and I just want to start my life over. So I offer to sign away my right to the military retirement in return for spousal support and the entirety of the savings account that we have. I send the proposal to my lawyer and tell her this is what I'm proposing to do. And she comes back and says, well, this is a bad idea. And then she says, well, you could get a temporary order from the court for the child support, but that's going to cost you $4,000 in legal fees, and it may not be binding because it's only temporary, so you may not even be able to use that to really add to your income. And she goes into this long thing, which I appreciate. I appreciate her telling me the legal stuff, because she's basically telling me you are an idiot to sign this away. And she does all the numbers, and the numbers don't make any sense. Basically, I'm giving away more to get less. She's basically trying to persuade me to kind of wait this out till the final order happens because it will go in my favor if I can just wait it out. But I can't wait it out because I have to stay in the house with this person. Yesterday, he called me the nanny. He said that I'm going to pay you child support and you're just going to be the nanny for my kids. When I told him, like, I need to try and stay in the district so our kids can keep going to their school. And the neighborhood that we're in is a little bit more expensive. So I need the child support order. And he said, it's not my problem. It's not my problem that you can't afford a place for them to live. In fact, I hope that's how it plays out. Because I want the kids to see that you can't support them. I want the kids to...
Man, let's look at the comments. I had to pause the video. That's a mouthful. So we're going to see, we know you shouldn't be surprised. We're going to see women and men are split on this issue. The whole objective of this silent third party, the state, is to get us to fight with one another. And most adults can't see it. I don't understand how we can't see this. You know, people older than me can't understand this. I'm like, man, you don't understand what's going on? The third party is involved. You okay. So men and women are split on this issue. So I'm gonna start with the ladies first. Ladies first. I could have made this post like, I just feel every word. My ex is Navy, 16 years. Been married the whole time. This is a D nightmare. Chris says, who is a lady, says, girl, you get, in all caps now, girl, you get every effing penny. You cannot give up the pension, please. Now here's Tony. Now here's the guy's perspective. Now I think that both parties have valid points. I get where women are coming from. Like, if a woman's been married to a man in a relationship, going through the ups and downs with this man for 16 years, a decade, I understand why a lot of them feel as though I'm entitled to resources. But then you got to look at the guy's perspective too. So this is the male perspective. I value both perspectives. The female perspective, I get it. I get the male perspective also. You filed and still want to be supported. See, this is how guys think. And I think the problem is men and women think differently. Tony says you filed and still want to be supported. You want the support meant for childcare because you can't afford to live as an adult. You're sad you couldn't have more of what he earned. You chose to walk away, meaning in the relationship. Deal with it. Men have to deal with this and worse. Okay, now, ladies, I'm going to give you a secret that I know older women know because older women have been in relationships, marriages. Men have feelings too. We might not get on the internet and do videos like this, but if this guy has kids with this woman, I don't know how long she said that they were together, but even going through the divorce, he is still allowing her to live in a house with him. I got to give the guy perspective, the man's perspective. She's asking to get his pension. Now, here's the thing. If they would have stayed together, she would be entitled to it. The problem that a lot of men have, and this is why I'm going to get into the marriage situation, and this is why the silent third party known as the state or the external force, they're going to win. I believe that they're going to win. Now, a part of me wants to say that we're going to win, but I'm seeing too much evidence to show that they have the whole system figured out to where we're never going to be stronger than them. Marriage is almost completely over with because people are not able to be married to anyone because they can't get their most basic needs met. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want you to research The Hierarchy of Needs by Abraham Maslow. And I want you to understand that you can't begin to focus on someone else if your most basic needs are met. What I'm getting to is that her needs would have this how the men think. The man worked, he was in the military, he took care of her, and then she put on the screen that they have disabled kids. She files for divorce. She wants to take him and get his pension, give more resources for him, and leave him without anything. And her justification is that one, she was married, and two, she has his kids. His point of view is like, I don't care if you can't get your basic needs met at this point because you're leaving. I know that doesn't make sense to a lot of women, but it makes perfect sense to guys because while together, her needs were met. Think about this. While they were together, her needs were met. She's even stating that her needs were met. She's realizing that when she leaves the relationship, unless the third party steps in, which is the government, her needs are not going to be met because she can't support them financially by herself. We have different roles. We're a team. We complement each other. No one wins when the family feuds. I'm pro family, by the way. I'm pro. I don't know why that would even be controversial to say. That's how crazy things have gotten now. To where if you say I'm pro family, like I think family should exist. Oh wow, that's a controversial statement now. Am I tripping? But that's what it seems like. But men go through things too, because when the family unit break down, men are affected also. A lot of guys feel as though, dang, all I am is a paycheck. That's what a lot of guys look at relationships now and they say, dang, all I am is a paycheck. When everything is monetized, when everything's become transactional, society breaks down. Okay, now we're going to talk about this child support issue. Okay,
Somebody.
hold on.
If you're thinking about putting that man on child support, think twice, think 3 times, think 4 times, because there may come a time in life where you might be emotionally stable and realize like that wasn't a good choice. Let me give y'all a backstory. So my daughter's 11, okay? She was born January 2014. I put my child's, we mutually went and filed for child support October 2014. My daughter wasn't even a year old. At the time, I was young. He was young. We had just broke up. He was doing his thing. I was hurt and I was, going through things emotionally and having postpartum, and he was playing in my face. So I'm like, fuck it. Yeah, we can do that. Did that. And baby, I'm trying to tell y'all, we've been in the process for years trying to get this man off of child support. The courts keep denying. They keep denying our paperwork. So he actually got a consultation from a lawyer this time to see like what is it, what are we missing, to get this court order dismissed. So he got some tips and tricks or whatever from the lawyer. So today we went and got the stuff notarized again this morning to submit to the courts, and fingers crossed that they approve it and dismiss all this shit, because it's just not necessary. Like I said, he's from day one been an active father. He's been there in her life and financially supported her. So it was just something that we did because we didn't want to deal with each other at the time. And we was like, fuck it, we can get the court to, put something in order for us so we ain't got to deal with each other. And, it was just a dumb decision because now it does affect our lives. It does affect um, his life as well, his business. He does trucking. So now, his driver's license could be, um, up for grabs and stuff like that. It's just a lot. It's a lot. I'm not trying to affect this man's life, like I said, because he does do what he needs to do for our child. I don't want to deal with the nigga. He keeps harassing me about the shit too. He's getting on my nerves. So I just want to be done, done with it. There was a time where I'm just like, fuck it. I've done what I needed to do. I'm not gonna keep worrying about it. You figure it out. But I'm like, let me not be selfish. Let me help get this stuff.
Listen, guys, I'm going to, I don't care how many lives I have to do. I'm going to get this information out there that that our family units are under attack, and it's everybody. It's everybody. It's not a race specific thing. It's everyone, and this is causing people to basically suffer from mental fatigue, right? I want you, like, let me just go to the video.
Give these men full custody and stop asking for child support. Did you hear me? Give these men full custody of their children and stop asking for child support. Because I think it would be a great idea. Because according to them, their child support is taking care of the next man and the next man and the next man. So I think it's a great idea. Let's give these fathers full custody of their children so they could raise them. Give these men.
I don't know if you notice, but that wouldn't really be a problem for a lot of men. Honestly, who it would affect the most would be the child. What I don't understand, well, this is what I'm attempting to understand. Everybody has this deep, man. Let me play the video again. This is deep.
Give these men full custody and stop asking for child support. Did you hear me? Give these men full custody of their children and stop asking for child support. Because I think it would be a great idea. Because according to them, their child support is taking care of the next man and the next man and the next man. So I think it's a great idea. Let's give these fathers full custody of their children so they could raise them.
If a man is um, who he says he is, that wouldn't be a problem. A lot of men are raising their children. A lot of men, it's this stereotype that men love their children less. And what I'm seeing is that I got to go back to the economy for a second, because what's going on economically is affecting the this is it's a false problem. Okay, the money situation is causing the family unit to break down. Okay, and if you don't understand the economics, then the relationship won't stand. You get what I'm saying? When you have, like, this lady is basically saying she doesn't even want to be a mother. I don't blame the sister. She's mentally drained. The things that we're going through is affecting our mental health. I just finished telling the story, if you're new to the live, how I was driving down the street, looked at the bus stop in Houston, Texas, that had a man completely nude in broad daylight. People are not where they need to be mentally right now.
You don't want to store food anywhere that the climate cannot be controlled. Ideally, you want it to be around 70 degrees where your food items are being stored. You want it to be dry. You don't want it to be very humid. So you need to keep those things in mind. And I get it. I know it can be really hard to figure out, where am I going to put all these things that I purchased? It's easy to think, well, let me put it in the garage.
Wouldn't it be so great if my TikTok career worked out? Because then I might actually be able to pay my bills. I might actually be able to take care of my cat. I don't know what I'm going to do this month.
The point I'm trying to make is that when people are struggling financially, they can't be in a relationship. You can't, hear me out. If your most basic needs are not met, you can't be in a relationship. In order for a relationship to work, and this is why we're seeing family units break down, in order for a relationship to work, a marriage to work, the marriage is not just between the two people. The marriage is how those two people are going to relate with the community. If there's no community, if there's no system to support the two people in the union, it's doomed. It's not going to work. And we're seeing this.
Mad. I applied to all these jobs. I basically have a college degree. And I can't get a job. And it made me mad. I see these people on social media my age. And they get paid so much money to make these videos. Which good for them, but it's just like, I'm struggling to live. And you guys make videos and get paid. I'm gonna make any bills this month. I'm in so much debt.
I'm livid right now. The last 2 years, I noticed that federal taxes was not being pulled out of my checks. Did not understand why. Kept asking my job. They kept telling me, oh, we can't give you tax advice. They'd keep handing me this paper that I couldn't even understand. So I was talking to my cousin this morning because this was the last year that I get to claim one of my kids because they're all grown and get any kind of money off of it. And I go to file and it's saying that I owe in over $2,000. Talking to my cousin this morning, and she was explaining it to me because the same thing was happening to her. Supposedly, if you don't claim zero, this happened over around the COVID time when they were handing out these stimulus checks. I knew there was going to be a way for them to make us pay that stimulus back, even though we weren't the ones that asked for it. But anyway, supposedly, if you claim anything other than zero, so if you claim 1, 2, it don't matter. If it's not zero, federal taxes will not pull. You have to claim zero if you want taxes pulled out out of your check, or at the end of the year, you're gonna owe in. They get money throughout the year and then they rack you at the end of the year. Some people can't afford that. You're just piling on more bills for these people. How much more, America, do you need? Like, how much more?
On top of that, working almost every single day, getting no time off, getting treated not in a way I would prefer. I don't make enough money to.
Oh, the audio is crazy on their video. Okay.
With the struggling economy and societal changes, if you're not already considering yourself a gray man, you might want to adopt more of.
What I'm trying to get at, okay, here's the video I was looking for.
This is what I'm struggling with in America right now in my 20s. Why is everything so expensive? Why am I making more money waitressing than I would make using my college degree? I barely have a life. I have 2 days off and I work Wednesday to Sunday, doubling just to pay my bills. At 22 years old, all of my bills are in my name. I have no help. How are y'all affording housing? In Myrtle Beach, a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,500. How are y'all getting insurance, going to the doctor, getting medicine? And then some of us are trying to be TikTok influencers. Who knows where that's going to get me? Me and my boyfriend are saving, but we barely see each other during the week, and it feels like we're working off for nothing.
And people want to know why marriages fail. Okay, what I'm trying to paint a picture for you is that when the economics is in trouble, relationships fail. All right, it's very simple. Okay, think about this, guys. We have scientists that can figure out how to send a rocket to the moon, but we act as though we don't know how to solve the problems in our society. We can't have it both ways. We can't be building iPhones, but then the people who use the iPhones are not well. Okay, I don't want to get too deep with you guys on this, but what we're seeing is that families are dying. The concept is family is dying.
So I want to say in November, December, and January, I was really like crying on my knees to God about like my godly ordained partner. And I was like telling God that I was ready for marriage. And at a point, I was telling God when it wasn't like coming, when I felt like he wasn't hearing me, I would literally tell him like, forget it. I don't even want it. And a lot of other times I would be woken up in the nighttime and I would just be battling God for this. A transformation happened in my life during that time, but when February and March came, God really unveiled a new thing that I want to share with you guys. What God started showing me was how hard it is to actually be married. It is a beautiful thing. But the hard thing is, right now in our singleness, which is beautiful, we have a flexibility to serve God in a undivided way, in a focused way. We also have the luxury of focusing on ourselves. And we have the time, and we have time to plan how to get better, time to focus on what God wants to do with us, learn about ourselves, purge things off of our bodies, get better. And there's a freedom in that without having someone, you know, observe that. There's a privacy in our singleness that brings a comfortability so God can work things out. What God was showing me in the last couple of weeks, that it is a blessing to be single, because right now I get to have the freedom and the wiggle room to do what I need to do for myself. And God was showing me how a lot of us yearn so much for partners, and we just have this like overall, yeah, my man is going to be a kingdom man. He's going to be this, he's going to be this, and he could be those things, but we are human flesh. These partners, these Christian men, these men that are getting to know God, getting their lives together, they still struggle with earthly things. They still struggle.
I'm going to share something with you guys. Um, so I'm about to wrap up this video. I think it's been a good meditation, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't try to provide some solutions to some of these problems. I think everybody needs to go and research this. And this is something that I'm always going to go back to now moving forward. I want to understand it better and learn how to apply it. Um, what we need to do is we need to understand the hierarchy of needs. So let's talk about level one, the physiological needs: air, breathing, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. That's our physiological needs. That's something that as animals, as humans, we naturally crave. Safety needs: security, feeling safe, employment, being able to get resources, health, property. Most people, guys, are stuck at level one. This is why people cannot, this is why I'm talking about the economy. Most people are level one. When most people are stuck at level one, they can't begin to have level three, which is love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, a sense of connection. You can't begin to have those things. Why? Because you're in a situation where you don't have anything. You don't have the ability. You don't have the ability to really do for self. Okay? So most people, they're stuck at level one, their physiological needs. Most people are today, you woke up, you went to work, trying to get what? I need you to think for a second, okay? I need you to stay with me. All right? We're gonna take it back to grade school. You need to make sure that you're okay. You need to drink your water, eat your food. You need some shelter. You need good sleep. You want to have clean clothes. You know, when you get a little bit older and mature, you want to be able to express yourself in intimacy, reproduction. That's physiological. Your safety needs, personal security. You want to feel safe when you walk outside. You want to feel safe when you lay your head at night. Employment. You want to be able to, employment is basically what you do. You want to be able to express yourself that when you're doing what you need to be done, that you will get a sense of pleasure from it, but also it will help to secure your physiological needs. You want to gather resources. You want your health to be good. You want your property to be stable. Once we get level one and level two, then we can move on to level three, love and belonging. Then we can have friendships. Then we can start to experience intimacy, family, a sense of connection. Most people can't even begin to experience love and belonging because on a daily basis we're trying to get our most basic needs met. When most people can't find jobs, when most people are living paycheck to paycheck, they can't begin to show love or belonging to anyone. Then we have level 4, esteem, a respect to self, a status, being able to respect others, have the freedom to travel. This is when you start to feel good about yourself. If most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, it's going to affect relationships. The family unit is going to suffer. And as a result, the communities is going to suffer, the city is going to suffer, the state is going to suffer, the whole nation is going to suffer. Okay? Then we have what's called self-actualization. And this, when you reach self-actualization, that means you have your most basic needs met, your physiological needs, air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, um, being knowing how to engage in intimacy, but doing it in a way that doesn't cause you harm. Your safety needs are met. Level 2, you have a nice home, apartment. You have a place where you feel secure. Okay. You have a decent job, a career. You're able to gather resources. You're able to spend enough time on your health. Your property is in order. Love and belonging. You can't get to love and belonging before you get level 1 and level 2 together. And this is where, no matter how old you are, this is why relationships suffer, because we are trying to get to love and belonging. And what we do is we tell the other partner and we say, if you were a man or if you were a real woman, then you would help me essentially get to level 3. No one can help you get to level 3. Well, in a perfect world, society, the system, we would all help each other to rise through these ranks. But the way we are at war with self. We feel a sense of a self abandonment. We live in this extreme individualistic world. And so, since we are all so individualistic, we can't begin to work as a collective to get our needs met. Then we have esteem. Most people, if you was to be honest, if you look in the mirror, how do you feel when you look in the mirror? And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. I'm just saying this to educate, okay? Because I'm still learning. When you look in the mirror, do you like what you see? Yesterday, did you feel good about yourself? Okay, if you see someone, let's talk about status. If you see someone pull up, or let's talk about your rich friend. Like everybody has a friend that probably makes more money than them, lives in a bigger house. Do you feel inferior when you're with your friend that has money? Or let's say you're the friend who has the money. Do you feel inferior, or do you still feel secure even though you may not have as much status or material things as the next person? Okay, recognition. Do you feel as though you need to be recognized for the things that you do? Or are you secure in the fact that you are who you are? Strength, freedom. This is all things related to esteem. You can't begin to feel good about yourself until we have our most basic needs met. And the way the system is designed, as far as I see, most people are never going to be able to experience love and belonging. Why? Because they're living paycheck to paycheck. Most marriages may fail. Why? Because the relationship can be mutual, meaning that both parties want to have the relationship. That's the most that we could really ask for. Because me, I can't guarantee to my lady that, baby, everything is going to be okay. You're never going to feel insecure. Our most basic physiological needs are going to be met. Our safety and security is going to be met. I can say that, but how can I guarantee that? I can't really guarantee that. And she can't really guarantee that to me. Why? Because there are things that are out of our control. I can't control if the economy is going to crash tomorrow. I can't control if um my my countrymen are going to have respect for me when I walk outside those doors. I could be at the gas station and someone could attack me. I can't guarantee anything to her. But what I can guarantee at max is to say, baby, I love you and it's mutual. I feel this way about you and you feel this way about me. But here's the problem, you guys. It takes more than feelings to have a lasting relationship. We need a system to support our relationships. We need a society to support our relationships. And if we don't have that, then what we won't get is to become self-actualized, self-actualization. And what does that mean? A desire to become the most that one can be. None of us, for the most part, from what I've seen, none of us are who we most desire to be. Why? It's not a personal, it's not our personal fault all the time. It's because we are unable to become the most that we should be because we're stuck at level one. Think, how is it people who work 30 years and they're still one paycheck away from needing more water, needing more food, needing more shelter? Let's talk about sleep for a second. Most people don't even get enough sleep to function properly. If the average American has to work 50, 60, 70-hour work weeks in order to get their needs met, let me break some math down to you. If you work 60 hours a week, okay, that's at least 6 days out of the week you're working 10-hour shifts. You still have to sleep. Let's say you sleep 8 to 10 hours. That's the week. You have about 40 hours at the end of the week left that you could use for self. So if you don't have enough time to what? Have love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. Why? You're overworked. And then what happens? Our family is affected because what if the man has to go out and work 70 hours and then he still has to sleep? After years of that, what happens? The wife says, babe, with the kids don't see you enough, or I don't get to see you enough. You're always working. Her physiological needs are not being met. Her safety needs are not being met. This is why I say we can't guarantee anything to anyone. And so when I look at what's going on, I realize that we are in a situation that's actually um really detrimental to our environment. Guys, I'm trying to share a tab. So what I want to do is I want to play a video and I want to discuss how the relation how the relationships that we're having is being affected because if if our most basic needs are not met, you can't be a wife to anyone, you can't be a husband to anyone. Okay, and I'm not the smartest person in the world, guys. I've actually learned from just observing. I want to play this video for you guys, and I want you.
Marriages, and if you claim that any
Hold on, let me go back. I want you guys to listen to this.
can we just finally accept that marriage does not benefit the woman, it benefits the man more than anything? I just really don't see any successful marriages And if you claim that any marriage is successful, I promise you the woman stayed while the man was cheating. And we just didn't know. You can't tell me these men don't be cheating. Yes, these women be cheating too. They do, but I feel like there's no such thing as a successful marriage. And I feel like people feel like when they say, oh, through thick and thin and sickness and health and all that, I feel like people or the men be thinking that, oh, through cheating and all of that. Yeah. Can we just finally...
Okay, guys. So, So here's the thing, guys. Let me go back to this tab. Now, she's learning. She's learning. And what she's learning is that what she's saying that is no successful marriage, what she's saying is that our physiological needs, reproduction, cheating falls under physiological. That's level one. What she's saying is most people are not past level one. And so, in her understanding of this, she's saying that most people are unable to escape level one. That when they feel as though their most basic needs are not being met, they're going to seek pleasure outside of the relationship. Now, I'm not here to say whether that's true or false because reproduction, according to Abraham Maslow, is just as important as air, water, food, shelter, sleep, and having clothing. Then you have safety and security. That's feeling intimacy, which is love and belonging, is higher up. So, okay, sex can be used to for pleasure, but it can also be used what to increase intimacy, a sense of connection, family, friendship. But you have to be higher up on the hierarchy of needs to be able to express yourself in that manner, or else we are basically animals. And so what she's saying that when the marriage, or like he's going to cheat or she's going to cheat, she's basically saying that how can we're not really able to experience love and belonging. She doesn't even think that it's possible to reach level three. She's basically saying people can say that they're married, but in all actuality, since we don't have control of our environment, we're not able to actually be married. Why? Because there's an external force that we're not talking about. There's an external force. Now, if you're new to the stream, you might be like, what is he talking about? Like, I'm not talking about some hocus pocus stuff like that. And I'm not saying that to offend anyone's spirituality, because that actually plays a part. What I'm talking about is this. Let me play another video, okay? First, let's hear this one, because this is deep, before I get to the video. So, what the good doctor was just talking about, once again, we're going to go back to the hierarchy of needs class, is that when people are sleeping in separate rooms, that can present a problem for level two, safety. Usually, when we are in relationships, that person helps us to feel safe. personal security. We feel safe. It also affects our health. Then after we do feel content, then we feel love and belonging. Then it goes. So if they're not even able to sleep in the same room, that goes back to level one. We gotta get past level one. Level one is not so difficult to get past, but you just have to have an understanding of yourself. I believe that it's going to be difficult for us as a society to get to self-actualization, the desire to become the most that one can be, if our fellow man is not doing well. If our fellow man is not doing well, then it's only a matter of time before we're not doing well, because we're interconnected. And have you ever been in a situation where you had a loved one who maybe was struggling with an addiction or struggling with some type of depression, and you became affected by it? Like, it made you sad to see this person hurt? It's because we are interconnected. We humans evolved in groups. We're not designed to be socially isolated, guys. So I want to get into do another video, and this is the external force I'm talking about, guys. And oh man, there's so many good videos on this topic. Okay, so let's look at the comments. Let's look at the comments, guys. So the comments were saying, and I'm gonna get back to the psychology aspect of this, but the comments were saying, my nephew only in the fourth grade, talking about he don't want to marry anyone because they gonna take his money. Adults, I want y'all to pay attention. Adults, the example that you're setting is having an effect on the kids. Now, a lot of times we want to live this YOLO life, and we don't realize that the future generations are watching us. They're watching us, right? This other guy. This is what the young men. Now, what's so crazy is these are males, and this surpasses race or ethnicity. That should be leaders in the community, should be fathers in the community. Okay, and basically, the system has men rejecting a physiological need. That's so heavy. Basically, the question becomes, are women even women, and are men even men anymore? Because we are not even following our nature. The external factors are affecting our nature, our natural process, the way that we respond. Okay, so it says marriage has no benefit for men. 81 comments. 30 leg parlay is crazy work. Marriage doesn't make sense for real. Somebody else says homie smart. He going somewhere in life. Nah, according to the stats, it's near a 30-leg parlay. Now hold on, let me go back to this. I'm gonna go back to this. We gotta go back to the basics, class. What the young kid was saying, the 16-year-old that he was talking to, he was saying that he's at level 1. Once he gets to some safety and security, employment, resources, health, property, that he will want to experience love and belonging. Level 3, friendship, intimacy, family, a sense of connection. He could even perhaps get to esteem, respect, status, strength, freedom, recognition. Here's the problem. Since all he sees is people at level 1, he doesn't even believe level 3, level 4, or level 5 is even possible. Everybody in that comment section, they don't even believe that love and belonging can exist in the current format of what's going on out here, guys. Okay, I got about 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna wrap this up. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to educate people that a lot of times, if you really have an understanding, you can see something and it can give you insight to what's really going on. That's why I really like TikTok. I like people talking. But I'm going to go back to this. Okay, we're going to go back to I want to show you guys this. We're going to go into the child support thing. Now think about level 1, guys. Think about what I just shared with you. Guys, ladies, guys, ladies and gents. I think it's time. I don't know, man. I think it's time for people to have questions before they go to the bedroom. How about that? Y'all know the song about 50 Cent and Nate Dogg. I asked you 21 questions. That's all about us. What 50 Cent said in the song, if I fell off tomorrow, would you still love me? If I ain't smell so good, would you still hug me? If I got locked up and sentenced to a quarter century, could I count on you to be there to support me mentally? If I went back from a hoopty to a Benz, would you poof and disappear like some of my friends? If I was down and out and needed you to put in work, would you be down to ride? I'm asking questions to find out how you feel inside. See, what 50 was doing in the song was he was talking about psychology and how she thinks. Before we get into the bedroom, males, females, whatever your orientation is, ask that person some questions and be honest. And if you can't be honest about the questions you need asked, then you shouldn't be going to the bedroom with this person. Okay? We have to elevate and stop thinking on level 1 and start thinking like adults. Okay? We have to stop thinking like adults. Well, I mean, we have to start thinking like adults. All of this stuff about child support this, child support that, and men need to do this, and women need to do this, This is conversations that could have been had before you did it. Now, here's the thing. A relationship is not a relationship until you guys go into the bedroom. At this point, you're just relations. You're just two people that know each other. But once you go into the bedroom, according to Neely Fuller Jr., once you go into the bedroom, you're now in a relationship. Why? Because you have now participated in something that could go beyond. Hold on. Let me share my tab, class. Once you go into the bedroom with one another, you're now experiencing level one together, and then by default, you're going to now relate to each other on some of these higher levels. That's what makes it a relationship. Is that if you guys go into the bedroom, then by default, you're now engaged in intimacy, a sense of connection, is now a friendship level. Now your personal security, your health, your property, man, it's so deep. People don't even understand how deep it is when you go into a bedroom with a person. Okay, you can create a human life by going into the bedroom with another person. Guys, we need to understand this. We can't be thinking like some little kids. You got to think like, you got to look at the big picture, guys. Ladies, you got to value your body. I don't want to preach, but I just got to be real. Ladies, value your body. Men, value yourself, guys. It's not that is anything wrong with it. It's just that you want to, if it, at best, you want to try to minimize conflict, guys. You want to minimize conflict, guys. You don't want to be in a situation where not you're asking questions after the fact. You don't want to be in a situation where you're asking questions after the fact. You know what I mean? And that's what's going on. You have adults. Man, you have adults that are asking questions after they decided to make a decision that was going to change their life. Now, the thing is with humans, we usually learn after something bad happens as humans, or we have to burn in order to learn. When, if we were wise, we would learn before. We would learn before. Okay, guys. So I think that was a good lesson today. I think that we learned a lot today, honestly. Um, Support our mission by donating via the Cash App, Elaine Kim 29. We discussed a lot of topics. You could replay the video, you could stitch the video, um, hit like, share, subscribe. And I think that the answer to these solutions is understanding ourselves on a greater level. You know, it's very sad that so many adults, chronologically they're adults, but psychologically we're very much still children. I would agree with that. We're very much still children, childlike, because we don't really understand the law of cause and effect. And even me, I'm still learning. I don't want you to think that I'm just dropping this good game, this good information, and I have it all figured out. I'm still learning. So later on, I'm going to do another stream on another topic. I'm going to go into part two, a deep dive on the history that I wanted to discuss. And I would appreciate if you guys would tune in. And it's going to be about Native American culture, the untold story of slavery. Is reviewing the book by Arthur Andres from the University of California. It's a great book, and I am going to deep dive into that topic. I did a live yesterday about it. I'm going to do another live. And so, thank you guys. And as always, I appreciate